Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be, well-informed? Is it just about cramming your brain with facts and figures, or is there maybe a deeper kind of knowing? A wisdom that helps you navigate life's inevitable challenges, cultivate inner peace, and actually, well, flourish.
Hmm.
Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into ancient wisdom, not as some dusty academic subject, but as a surprisingly practical, almost systematic guide for profound inner well-being. We'll be drawing insights from a collection of ancient texts, focusing on these recurring patterns, almost like distilled nuggets of understanding, often presented in groups of sixes and threes. Think of it maybe as a shortcut to timeless clarity.
Yeah, and this material offers a truly unique lens on the human experience. What stands out, I think, is how these universal principles articulated centuries ago remain incredibly relevant today. They provide really actionable insights for anyone seeking genuine transformation in their own lives.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a classic. There's this wonderful story about a monk named Soṇa.
Ah, yes, Soṇa.
Right. He was pushing himself incredibly hard in his spiritual practice, almost to the point of exhaustion. But he wasn't really making progress. In fact, he was so frustrated he started thinking about giving up entirely, going back to a comfortable lay life with his family's wealth.
Understandable when you hit a wall like that.
Totally. And here's where the analogy comes in. The Buddha, sensing Soncha's struggle, appeared to him and asked if he remembered playing the lute, the ven, before he became a monk. The Buddha then asked, "If the strings of your lute are too tight, is it melodious and playable?" Soṇa replied, "No, venerable sir." "What if they're too loose?" Again, "No, venerable sir." "But when they're not too tight and not too loose, but set at just the right tension," Soṇa answered, "then it is melodious and playable."
And that's just such a brilliant way to explain it. Simple yet profound. The Buddha used that image to illustrate the concept of effort, right? Whether in spiritual practice or really any endeavor in life. Push too hard, like a string that's too tight, and you get agitation or restlessness, udakaya savatati, as the text says. You're wound up, you're frantic, and frankly, you're not effective.
Yeah, just spinning your wheels.
Exactly. On the flip side, too little effort, like a loose string, leads to laziness or apathy, kosajaya savatati. You're disengaged, you're drifting. The core insight here is finding that balanced effort, viryasamattai, and also sense balance, indriyanasammatak. It's about calibrating your energy so your mind functions optimally, allowing you to actually succeed.
And Soṇa eventually found that sweet spot. He found the balance, and the text describe him achieving a state of profound liberation, arahantship, a kind of ultimate inner peace. It paints this vivid picture of his perfected mind, unshakable, like a massive rock unmoved by powerful winds, completely undiluted by any sensory input, be it intense sights, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, or mental objects. Just stable, unmoving.
Wow.
That's a truly powerful visual for inner peace, isn't it?
Absolutely. That kind of stability.
So that story really underscores the importance of internal calibration, but what about the outside world? It turns out ancient wisdom has a lot to say about how our environment, and especially the people we choose to spend time with, profoundly shape our inner journey.
Oh, definitely.
The teachings on friends, the Metta Sutta and company, the Saggakarma Sutta both really hammer home the power of association. They clearly state that if a practitioner has, well, bad friends, papamito papasahayo, or indulges in excessive socializing and gossip sakankaramo gararamo, they simply won't perfect their conduct, their training, their virtue, or abandon destructive passions.
And this raises such an important question for us in the modern world, doesn't it? How carefully do we choose our influences? It's not just about who we physically spend time with,
Right.
but also the media we consume, the online communities we engage with. The ancient wisdom here directly connects our social dynamics to our inner progress. It suggests that the choices we make about our associations are, well, fundamental to our development or indeed our decline.
But there's a wonderful counterbalance, of course. The texts also say that a practitioner with wholesome companions, kalyamita, will perfect their conduct, training, and virtue, and will abandon those unskillful passions. And someone who cultivates solitude and mindfulness will achieve the opposite of those negative effects. So there's a clear path forward there, too.
Exactly. And the Devata Sutta, the discourse where a deity speaks with the Buddha, builds on this by listing 6 qualities crucial for a practitioner's spiritual non-decline, ensuring continuous progress. These are respect for the teacher, the Buddha, respect for the Dhamma, that's the core teachings themselves, respect for the Sangha, the community of practitioners, respect for the training, obedience to wise guidance, and crucially, good friendship.
Good friendship again.
Right. And what's remarkable here is that Sariputta, one of the Buddha's chief disciples, elaborates on this. He clarifies that it's not enough to just have these qualities. You must actively praise them, encourage them in others, and embody them yourself. You're sort of strengthening the entire spiritual ecosystem by doing that.
Interesting. So it's not just personal, it's communal too.
Precisely.
Okay, now let's talk about action and destiny, because this next set of ideas truly flips our conventional thinking on its head, I think. In one story, the Darukamika Sutta, there's a householder named Darukamika who only gave alms to certain monks he believed were enlightened specifically. Those who lived in the forest gathered alms food and wore rag robes. He was essentially judging worthiness based on these very external practices.
Right, judging a book by its cover, essentially. Yeah. And this is where the Buddha offered a crucial correction. He told Darukamika that it's incredibly difficult for a layperson, especially one living a householder's life full of sensory pleasures, to truly discern who is enlightened based on these outward appearances. Instead, true praise comes from inner qualities, being not conceited, not talkative, having a unified mind, and possessing strong sense restraint, and the Buddha emphasized that giving to the monastic community, the Sangha as a whole, brings immense merit, regardless of whether you can individually discern the inner state of each monk. This is such a powerful message about looking beyond the surface.
Yeah, definitely. Don't get caught up in the externals. This leads us right into the Chabijari Sutta, the 6 classes of birth destiny discourse, which offers a truly surprising perspective on fate. Paṇṇāsako, another philosophical teacher of the time, believed destiny was purely about social birth. He outlined these 6 classes of people, from black like butchers and thieves to supremely white like certain ascetics, and he basically linked your fate to your social origin.
But the Buddha offered this radical counter-argument that just cut through those societal norms and expectations. He taught that destiny isn't about the circumstances of your birth, but about your actions, your karma, and your mental states. It's a total paradigm shift. He detailed 6 categories based on this principle. First, the black-born, black-destined. Someone of low social birth who performs bad actions, leading to rebirth in lower realms. So those butchers Kasaba mentioned, their destiny is due to their actions, not their birth.
Okay, got it.
Second, black-born, white-destined. Someone of low social birth who performs good actions, leading to rebirth in heavenly realms.
So your birth doesn't lock you in?
Not at all. Third, black-born, non-black, non-white destined. Someone of low social birth who enters monastic life and attains nibbana, liberation, essentially transcending the whole black-white karma system altogether. Then he flips it for those with privileged birth. Fourth, white-born, black-destined. Someone of high social birth who performs bad actions, leading to rebirth in lower realms. Their privileged birth offers no protection from the consequences of unwholesome deeds.
It's a big one.
Huge. Fish, white-born, white-destined. High birth performs good actions, leading to heavenly rebirth. And finally, number 6, white-born, non-black, non-white destined. High birth enters monastic life and attains nibbana.
The true bombshell here, I think, is that ancient wisdom insists your destiny isn't inherited. It's earned through your actions. It's a radical call to personal agency and responsibility, isn't it? Regardless of your starting line.
Absolutely. It suggests that anyone can transcend suffering and achieve liberation through their own efforts. It's incredibly empowering.
Okay, let's delve even deeper now into the mind's deep mechanics, starting with the Āsavā Sutta, the Taints Discourse, which gives us a really systematic approach to inner purification.
Yeah, this text outlines 6 very practical ways to abandon what are called āsavās. You can think of them as mental effluents or taints, these things that cloud the mind. First, by restraint, savara. This means guarding your 6 senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind from defilements. It's about not letting external input overwhelm or, contaminate your inner peace.
Okay, vigilance.
Exactly.
The second.
By right use, paisvana. This refers to using necessities like robes, food, dwelling, and medicine appropriately, not for indulgence or attachment, but simply to sustain your practice, using things wisely.
Makes sense.
Third, by endurance, adavasana, cultivating the ability to tolerate cold, heat, hunger, thirst, unpleasant speech, and bodily pain without letting them disturb your mind. Developing resilience.
That sounds tough.
It is, but crucial. Fourth, by avoidance, parvivashana. This is about wisely avoiding dangerous places, bad companions, or situations that might hinder your progress. Sometimes the smartest move is just to stay away.
Yeah, practical wisdom.
Fifth, by removal, vinodana, actively expelling unwholesome thoughts as they arise, things like sensual desire, ill will, or harmfulness. You don't just endure them passively, you actively get rid of them.
Oh, so it's active.
Very active. And finally, number 6, by development, bhavana. This involves cultivating the 7 factors of awakening: mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. This is the positive cultivation part of the practice, building the good stuff.
Wow, that's quite a system. 6 distinct approaches. Okay, so that systematic approach to abandoning defilements leads us naturally to the next step. Truly understanding the fundamental nature of our experience, right?
Precisely.
And that's where the Nibbatika Sutta, the penetrative discourse, comes in. This discourse offers a systematic way to understand 6 core phenomena: desires, feelings, perceptions, taints, actions, and suffering.
Yes, and for each of these 6, kama, vedana, sanya, āsavā, kama, dukkha, the teaching emphasizes that you must understand 6 aspects about them.
6 aspects for each of the 6 phenomena. Okay.
Exactly. You need to know its nature, what it is, its origin, nidana sambhavo. For many, the origin is contact, phassa. But for the deeper taints, it's ignorance, avijja, diversity, amatatta, its result, vipākko, its cessation, nirodho, and the path to its cessation, which is usually the Noble Eightfold Path.
So, for example, with desires.
Right. Desires aren't just one thing. There's diversity. Desires related to sights, sounds, smells, taste, touches, mental objects. Feelings, too. They can be pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, worldly, or spiritual. Samisa and Ramisa. Perceptions have diversity, perception of forms, sounds, etc. It's a call to deep, systematic inquiry into your own experience. Very detailed.
That sounds incredibly thorough. This all brings to mind a particularly intriguing story about Devadatta, a cousin of the Buddha, found in the pure Sandriyāñana Sutta, the knowledge of the faculties of individuals discourse.
Devadatta. Yes, what's remarkable here is how the Buddha could perceive an individual's spiritual potential and even predict their future path by seeing their wholesome and unwholesome roots, their underlying tendencies. The text uses these really vivid analogies to describe these individuals. There are people like seeds on fertile ground. Their wholesome qualities might be diminishing right now, but their wholesome root is intact, so good things will eventually reappear, leading to progress or non-decline.
Okay, potential is still there.
Exactly. Then there are those like seeds on barren ground. Unwholesome qualities might seem to be diminishing, but the unwholesome root is still there, meaning decline is ultimately inevitable.
Uh-oh.
Then someone could be like a pit of excrement. No wholesome qualities left at all, destined for lower realms. Well, that's certainly an image that sticks with you, isn't it?
Yeah, not exactly subtle.
Not subtle at all. This was the analogy used for Devadatta, indicating he had effectively destroyed his wholesome roots.
Wow. Okay, what else?
There are also dying embers. Wholesome roots are actively being destroyed, which points to future decline. And conversely, thriving embers. Unwholesome roots are being destroyed, leading to future progress, future non-decline.
So a positive trajectory.
Right. And finally, there are cold ashes.
Yeah.
No unwholesome qualities left at all. The roots are gone, leading to complete liberation, nibbana, in this very life.
This is fascinating because it reveals our potential isn't static. It's like this complex living system of roots constantly shaping our trajectory, often way beneath the surface of what we think we're doing day to day.
Absolutely. It's not just about what you're doing right now, but the deeper tendencies, these wholesome and unwholesome roots that are shaping your entire path. It highlights the dynamic nature of potential.
Okay, let's revisit the Hathisariputta Sutta for another important lesson about the path, while not always being linear.
Right. Hathisariputta. He was a monk who initially attained deep meditative states, really profound experiences. However, he later experienced a fall from grace, so to speak. He became excessively social, enjoying company and conversation, and grew attached again to sensual desires. Even after experiencing such profound states of concentration, his defilements returned because he lost his vigilance, his mindfulness.
So even deep states aren't a permanent fix unless maintained.
Exactly. The text used these vivid analogies to illustrate this, like an ox that keeps returning to eat the crops in a forbidden field even after being driven away many times, or like dust that settles back onto a crossroads even after it's been swept clean. Pebbles reappearing in a pond after water clears, hunger returning after a fine meal, waves on a calm pond, chirping sounds returning after a royal army leaves. It truly shows how easily defilements can resurface if one's guard is down.
Wow, those are powerful images. But the story doesn't end there, right? He eventually returned to his practice and attained profound liberation, arahantship.
That's right. Which shows that the journey isn't always a straight line, And even those who falter, sometimes significantly, can find their way back to ultimate inner freedom. It offers hope.
That's a really important point.
And this leads us naturally to the Samadhi Sutta, the concentration discourse. This teaching directly outlines what is not possible without deep, calm concentration, samadhi, and what is possible with it. Without profound, unified concentration, the text says one cannot develop various supernormal powers, idhivida, like manifesting multiple bodies, passing through walls, things like that. Or having the divine ear for sounds near and far, mind reading others' thoughts and states, remembering past lives, or seeing beings' rebirths with the divine eye.
Okay, so these aren't just myth, but described as results of concentration.
Yes, what's truly insightful here is that these abilities aren't presented as external magic tricks or something mystical you're granted. Rather, they're described as natural outcomes of profoundly unified concentration, indicating a deep mastery over the mind itself.
And the ultimate power.
The ultimate power listed, of course, is the destruction of the taints, āsavā, ultimate liberation.
Right.
And building on this, the core teachings on impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta, offer a cornerstone transformative insight. The anicca, dukkha, anatta suttas are fundamental. The remarkable aspect here is the teaching that perceiving any conditioned phenomenon, anything that arises and passes away as permanent, or as truly pleasant, or as a solid self, prevents any stage of liberation, from stream entry all the way to arahantship.
So seeing things incorrectly blocks the path.
Completely. Conversely, perceiving all conditioned phenomena as impermanent, anicca, unsatisfactory, and non-self, anatta, enables these profound attainments. This insight is the very foundation of inner freedom in this tradition.
And on a beautiful concluding note for this segment, the teaching on Nibbana, I think it's Sutta 5.6, highlights the crucial insight that Nibbana itself is to be seen as happiness, sukhato, not as suffering. The ultimate well-being, the cessation of suffering.
A vital clarification.
So we've explored the grand sixes that paint this broad canvas of transformation. Now let's zoom into the threes found in the Vaggo or threefold chapters. These offer wonderfully direct, almost daily actionable advice. Think of these as quick, powerful levers for interchange, found consistently throughout these chapters.
Yeah, exactly. These teachings present a really consistent pattern. You abandon 3 negative states by cultivating 3 positive ones. It's very practical. For example, to overcome the deeply rooted 3 poisons, lust, raga, hatred, dosa, and delusion, moha, you cultivate things like contemplation of foulness or impermanence, asubha, to counter lust, loving kindness, metta, to counter hatred, and wisdom, paṇṇā, to counter delusion.
Specific antidotes for specific poisons.
Precisely. Another clear example.
Yeah.
We transform our conduct. How? By abandoning bad bodily, verbal, and mental actions, and instead actively cultivating good bodily, verbal, and mental conduct. Simple, but profound. Or consider shifting your thoughts and perceptions. Changing unwholesome thoughts, like sensual thoughts, thoughts of ill will, and harmful thoughts, to wholesome ones, such as thoughts of renunciation, non-ill will, and non-harm. The wisdom here is so practical, stuff you can work with moment to moment.
Yeah, very applicable.
Other threes involve letting go of unhelpful views, views of enjoyment as the ultimate goal, views of a permanent self, and wrong views in general by cultivating the perceptions of impermanence, non-self, and right view. We foster contentment by overcoming dissatisfaction, lack of comprehension, and high ambition, maybe unskillful ambition. We improve relationships and focus by replacing disobedience, bad friendship, and mental distraction with obedience, good friendship, and mindfulness of breathing. See the pattern?
Yeah, abandon the negative, cultivate the positive, always in threes.
Exactly. And we overcome inner hindrances by transforming restlessness, lack of restraint, and heedlessness with tranquility, restraint, and heedfulness. Appamana.
Okay, so what's the ultimate goal presented through these threes?
Well, the ultimate aspiration is clearly laid out in teachings like the Bhava Sutta on existence and the Tanta Sutta on craving. Here, it's about abandoning 3 types of existence: sensual existence, form existence, formless existence. It's about abandoning 3 types of craving: craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, and craving for non-existence. And overcoming 3 types of conceit: believing oneself to be better than others, worse than others, or equal to others.
Conceit of equality, that's interesting too.
Yes, even that can be a subtle form of clinging to self. And all of this, the texts state, is ultimately achieved through the 3 trainings: higher virtue, adisila, higher mind or concentration, adisita, and higher wisdom, adipanya. This isn't just theory. It's presented as a systematic pathway to complete freedom.
It really lays out such a clear path, doesn't it? This deep dive truly shows the systematic and, I think, incredibly practical nature of this ancient wisdom. Understanding these sixes and threes offers a clear guide, almost a roadmap, for inner transformation and for navigating the complexities of life itself.
Indeed. It beautifully underscores the profound interconnectedness of our inner states, our actions, and our perceptions in shaping our entire experience of reality. It shows how these factors lead us toward either liberation or continued entanglement and suffering.
So to leave you, our listener, with something to chew on. If the path to profound liberation, or even just greater well-being, is truly about cultivating specific states and abandoning others, what sixes or threes might you start observing in your own daily experience? Which patterns are leading you closer to or maybe further from your own desired state of well-being?